Good morning and welcome back to the FPL Tom YouTube channel. Ahead of a big one this week, it is of course double game week 32. I know we've got a lot of questions heading into this game week. I know there was some news that broke as well last night around Phil Foden, so hopefully if you have got him, you've probably offloaded him or just slapped him on the bench for this week. I can already see we've got some absolute legends in the chat. We will try to answer as many questions as we can in today's live. We've got Jack, we've got Freddie, Jamie, Andy. Absolute legends for being here this early. Really appreciate you guys. Of course, if you are new around here, make sure you're slapping that like button. Make sure you're hitting the subscribe button as well. We are on that road to 13,000 subscribers by the end of the season. And every single stream, we get that little bit closer. I think we're around 120 people away, so if we could, get sort of closer to that today. There's also a follow-up stream a little bit later on, a watch-along stream for the City game. So, yeah, I feel we'll get very close today. So hopefully we can do it. Let's have a look what's popping off in the chat then. If you're here nice and early, you get your questions answered. Jack has said best week for triple captain. Probably going to be this week, next week, or game week 36. Start Saka or Savinho. I would take the gamble on Savinho this week, I think. Start Gvardiol or Konza. I probably would go Gvardiol, Yeah, I probably would go Gvardiol on that one. Hey Andy, hey Jamie, welcome to the chat. People playing Assman, triple captain, bench boost, squad rotation incoming with people with horrendous bench dilemmas. One word for this week, chaos. Yeah, I think a lot of chaos could erupt this week. I went mad this week. I just did Rashford to Marlon. Need to deal with Digne next game week. Maybe Digne to Ruben. I mean, Villa have got that double, haven't they? They have got the double, so maybe not. You don't have to deal with it yet. Morning, mate. Just the benching headache for this week. Start Saka, Foden, or Gvardiol. Sliding towards going back four at the back and deal with it next week. I would bench... I'd definitely bench Foden after Pep's comments last night regarding him. I can obviously get that tweet up for you. I've just noticed I've got a spot on my FOD. Let's get that off. Has it gone? Sort of. That might be one for a bit later. Ow. This is what you don't get with other streamers. Popping spots on stream. But yeah, I definitely benched Foden after the comments last night. Opinions on a Mateta differential captain. If you need to chase rank, I don't mind it. Obviously, there's no Nketiah for the first game, so you probably imagine decent 90 minutes for him there. Insane Gamer says he's benching Saka as well. I don't even mind that this week. I think a lot of people will be. Mark's in the chat. Good morning, mate. He says Saka or Saliba. Not sure which one to start. I probably would bench Saka this week if I had him. Afraid of Digne start / not play. Yeah, I get it. I mean, they've got the Champions League fixtures either side, but... let's wait and see. Morning triple captainers. No triple captain for me, but I understand if you are on that chip this week. Wood or Mbuemo? Will Wood play? I haven't actually seen anything regarding Chris Wood, so I couldn't really tell you. My assumption early doors is going to be no. I'll have a check, though, and see what is being said around Chris Wood. But my assumption would be no, he's not available. Let me have a quick check for you. Over on Fantasy Football Scout, and when it is, I will share my screen when I find this piece of team news. But do keep the questions coming in, guys. Anything that you do have, please do let me know. Where is it? Where the hell is it? Did he do one? I'm genuinely struggling to find Nuno's press conference here. Thomas Frank. Here we go. Wood, Awonyi, and Alanga will be assessed. He says that I'm hopeful. That's all the quote tweet says. So let me bring that up for you quickly. This is what the tweet says right here. Wood, Awonyi, Alanga will be assessed ahead of game week 32. On all of them, I'm hopeful. Doesn't sound too great. I probably would still lean towards Brian and Mbeumo on that one. That'd be my personal opinion. Asensio or Palmer? I'm tempted by Asensio, who'll probably start and could start at double game week. He could start today. I think, though, that trying to predict that Villa lineup is going to be pretty difficult. I genuinely think trying to say who's going to be the starting players within that Villa lineup, probably extremely difficult this week. I think Solanke is a differential. Would you do Solanke or Savinio? I don't think I'd go near Solanke. No double game weeks. What are you doing? You think Cap Mateta over Isak I can chase rank? Yeah, definitely. Definitely. So look what else we've got flying in. No worries, bro. Anytime. Morning, Tom. I've got my first British Championship qualifier today. Going to watch the deadline stream and watch along to help me stay relaxed. Oh, amazing stuff, Abby. What sport is this? I'm guessing... I'm going to go swimming. But if I'm wrong, please tell me. But yeah, amazing stuff, Abby. Please let us know what sport you are doing. It could be driving. It genuinely could be driving. But yeah, please let us know, and we'll be sending over our support in the chat. Wood might be a buyback after the doubles. Yeah, it probably will be. Is this stream continuing until the watch along? It will not be. My voice will not hack that much stream, but yes. Great point. There will be a watch along a little bit later today. We've got everything kind of set up for that, so looking forward to that one. We're going to be doing a watch along for the City game, so it should be decent. Triple Captain Isak. I think if I had the chip and I've got other chips to play, I'd do elsewhere. Raya or Garcia or Martinez. Sorry, Martinez. Hey, FPL Shane. Hope you're doing good, mate. It's trampoline gymnastics. Very nice. Congrats, Abby. Hopefully you absolutely smash it out of the park. Send in our support from the chat. If there is anywhere we can watch it, let us know. I'm sure people might potentially be interested and support you along. Let's go, Abby. Let's go. Ed says, hi, mate. Bowen or Saka today? Oh, you know what? Liverpool have looked a little bit shaky. They've looked a little bit shakily recently, so I probably would maybe go Bowen, because I don't know about Saka, so I probably would go Bowen. Gvardiol in a 4-3-3 or Savinio in a 3-5-2. I'd need to know who the other players are really before kind of making a selection choice based like that. FPL Meerkat's predicted lineups scare me. We'll go and take a look at Charlie's predicted lineups in a little bit. Make sure you are heading over to his Twitter. Amazing stuff he puts together every single week. Getting rid of Munoz or Sarr to bring in Glasner. I would get rid of Sarr ahead of Munoz. I think for me, the two essential Palace players are going to be Munoz and Mateta. So yeah. Is Glasner for AM a shout? Definitely. Definitely. He's probably above Howe in my opinion. If you went for Howe last week and you've got him, I probably wouldn't move him on. But yeah, if you're going for it this week, I genuinely think, yeah, I'd play Glasner. 2 chances of table bonus. Why not? Sign me up. Sign me up, boys. Tom would go Bowen over Prime Messi. Hey, mate, I love Bowen. I've got a real big soft spot for Jared Bowen. So, yeah, I probably would. Who's the best AM option? Thought about Glasner, potentially Slot. It has to be a double game week player for this week. It's either Slot or... not Slot. It is either Glasner or Howe. They're your 2 picks this week, realistically. More than all, do I bench Saka and Rodgers? All this rotation messing with my mind. Cheers, pal. Yeah, I think both Saka and Rodgers could be susceptible to rotation. But I think Morgan Rodgers is more likely to play ahead of Saka, in my personal opinion. But obviously, if you've got a different opinion, that's up to you. Bench for Game Week 32 is Verbergen, Saka, Milenkovic, and Konza. What are your thoughts? Bench boost now versus bench boost 36. I don't think I'd be bench boosting with that, Freddie. I think Saka's a bit of a risk. Konza, definitely a risk. So, yeah, I don't think I'd go near that one. Should I start Saka or Rodgers? I think I'd gamble on Rodgers, you know. Savinio will start. We'll take a look at the predicted lineups for Manchester City, but I think with the Foden news, potentially, yes. That's probably the way I'd lean on that one. Ooh. Which Villa defender is safe from rotation? None. I thought Konza was going to be safe from rotation, but he got benched last week. So, yeah, genuinely none of them. None of them. Tips for a sore throat. I would do either some of these bad boys, some Jakemans. I would do either honey and lemonade. Put the lemonade in the microwave, dob some honey in. Then I probably would do some hot water and lemonade. And then maybe finally do like a Vic bowl. So get yourself like a plastic container, put the kettle on, put some Vic all the way around it, put the hot water in, and put a towel over your head and breathe that in. They're probably my top ones that I go for usually. What is the Foden news? Yes, this broke last night. Let me bring that up for you guys. City Extra. I don't know why it started all the way down there and made me scroll all the way to the top. Cheers, lads. Where did he say it? Right, I need to find Andy's tweet because he quote tweeted them. Here they are. Pep breaking. Foden is a doubt for the Manchester City versus Palace game. So yeah, there you go. He's just a doubt for the game, and I think any sort of thing on that, yeah, I probably wouldn't go near Phil Foden for me personally. And City Extra is a very, very reliable source for Manchester City stuff. Can you do a spin on your swivelly chair? If we hit 100 likes on today's stream, I will do a spin on the swivelly chair. So there's your aim for today. Get 100 likes, I do a spin on the swivelly chair. You know we always do something daft for 100 likes, and that is today's one set up. So yeah, swivelly chair, 100 likes, there you go. Jess is in the chat. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're doing very well today. FPL Shane, he says, have 2 free transfers. I'm very tempted to use them to prepare for the bench boost. Verbergen, Mbuemo, Huijsen, Estupinian. Is that your current bench boost, or is that the players you are looking at getting? Is Wood going to play? He's going to be assessed ahead of the game. So take of that what you will. Start Gavardio or Saliba? I would start Gavardio ahead of Saliba today. I think that Arsenal side will be very, very rotated, so probably would not be looking at any of their players. Morning, Mikey. Hope you're doing well. I did Gabriel to Bradley to sub Gavardio. Can't see him getting a clean sheet. Also hoping Savinho starts. Fair enough. Oh, wrong one. Reading other people talking to other people in the chat. Kinso. Who is Kinso, mate? Do you mean Kivior? I'm just a little bit confused on that one. Is it Kivior or is it Kinso? Let me know in the chat. Let me know in the chat. But yeah, I like Kinso as well. Good player. Start Saka or Rodgers? I've had this one a few times. I said I probably would go Rodgers. Yeah, I probably would go Rodgers. That was where my head was kind of lying with that one. Obviously, Arteta said that Saka is good to go. Whether or not that he plays, I don't know. I don't know. A little bit tired this morning. Little bit tired. Do keep your questions coming in, guys. Anything that you do have. Of course, we'll be doing team ratings probably about 8:30. If you do want to get your team sent to me, head over to my Twitter at FPLTom and leave it under there. I have 6 players doubling and I've TC'd Isaac. Nice. Let's hope for the best then for you. Yeah, in terms of the Villa defender, I can see we've got like a few people asking in the chat. Villa defenders is extremely difficult. Like, honestly, I probably would not buy any of them. That'd be my personal opinion. Hey, John, how's it going, mate? Hope you're doing decent. Welcome back to the chat. Oh, cheers, Ed. Appreciate that, bro. Thank you very much for the kind words. I hope we can help you get a decent end to the season, decent rank, and obviously head into next season if you're going to play again. I suppose all this rotation chat makes the bench boost a bit of a gamble, so I'll save it. Yeah, I think if you've got, like, you know, if you've got an okay bench looking this week and maybe it contains like a Saka or a Villa player, probably would be bench boosting more towards next week, I think would probably be the way that I go. Okay. All right. I like that, Shane. I like that, mate. I like it. Yeah, I think this is a perfectly fine week to activate the double game week chip. If you were to, of course, use it, I don't mind it. I genuinely don't mind it. I'll just be following your tips from now on. Appreciate that, mate. Appreciate that. Probably best you didn't see what rank I was at the start of the season. You probably would have clicked away quite quick. We were around 5 million. Let me get it up. Let me get it up to kind of demonstrate the impressive rise we've had. So as you can see, start of the season back here, absolutely abysmal. Absolutely abysmal. With our lowest rank being about 5.6. This was the week we decided, like, we've had enough. We're going to wildcard. It's also the week I went on FPL Raptors podcast. So really great advertisement for the channel, isn't it? At 5.2 million. But we wildcarded and slowly but surely have just worked our way back. Slowly. And around here was where we got the big Glasner one. As you can see, we were kind of stuck. We went for that table bonus then, got Glasner in, and it absolutely changed our season. It propelled us right up, just outside the top 10k. Would have been nice to get in there. But yeah, as you can see, we've kind of been hovering around this next mark here where we are kind of struggling a little bit to get ourselves back into contention for that top 10k finish. But we're in a decent position. I think this week it's going to be hard. A lot of people have got chips active this week. So, yeah, we maybe could be sat on a red arrow. But I'm feeling pretty confident with the team we've selected ahead of this game week. Was Sart to Rodgers and Potter to Glasner a good idea? I'm not 100% sure on Rodgers' minutes this week, but I don't mind Glasner as a manager. Yeah, Golden's also a great guy. Got a lot of time for Tom. We're good friends now outside of YouTube. We just kind of randomly started like commenting on each other's posts when we both had about 1k. And we kind of just reached out to each other, and then since then we've like done streams together, chatting, like basically, yeah, we've just become good friends outside of FPL, which is great to see, you know, because making videos sometimes can be a bit of a lonely experience, let's say, because not everyone can kind of understand the ups and downs of content creation. I think a lot of you probably don't see it, but we get absolutely battered sometimes in the comment section. Like when I wore a vest in a video the other week. I got absolutely battered. So, yeah, that's the ups and downs, I guess. I'm starting Saka and expecting 45 minutes. Yeah, I mean, it's probably going to be around that, isn't it? It may be even less, potentially. Thoughts on Asensio or any other Villa player? If both Savinho and Saka are benched today, then Savinho to Asensio, because we might get leaks. I don't know about leaks anymore. Leaks are pretty much dried up. That tap is long gone. A lot of the clubs have obviously sussed out who the leakers were, and now are dry. Asensio could be a decent pick if we know he's going to start, but I think there's going to be so much rotation within that Villa side for me personally. Even with the priority being the Champions League midweek, then they've got next week a double game week, but they've got two of their biggest competitors for top 4 football. So I would probably say maybe err on the side of caution on bringing in Villa players. Stavot, Gvardiol or Moreno? Ooh. I think Moreno could play, so I probably would take that little bit of a gamble and go with him. Is it worth bringing in a double game week player for Bruno? I think Bruno's looked really, really good. But yeah, I definitely think, you know, I would probably prefer to have double game week players ahead of Bruno. But that's not saying that Bruno's not a bad option. He looked really good on Thursday night. I thought he was great. Genuinely great. The way that he was just playing that ball around on Thursday, he looked good. I mean, yeah, he was benched against PSG, but what's to say they want to start him against PSG, so they're going to bench him again this week? There's genuinely anything could happen. Sessignon as a punt, wouldn't go near it. Hi Tom, great Q&A the other day with Golden. Really like your perspective. I have Milenkovic, Verbergen, Canate and Cunha. Should I use my 1 free transfer to replace him or save the transfer and TC Isak? I probably would save the transfer and TC Isak. I'm not 100% sure on your chip strategy, whether or not you're going to be playing a free hit. That would obviously give me a little bit more guidance on which way you're potentially thinking on that one. But yeah, let me know. Start Saka or Foden. Foden is a big doubt for the game, so I probably would go Saka on that one. Start Diaz or Saka. Probably would go Diaz. I'm going double Villa defence. Oof. Instead of Raya and Gvardiol, I probably would leave the other way, Stephen. I think there could be quite a bit of rotation. I don't even think Konza might not even start the game. Munoz out for Glasner. Which defender to buy? Munoz out for Glasner is not the move. I would rather take out an Eze or a Sarr, in my personal opinion, to get Glasner in. But if you are looking for any defenders, probably a double game week defender this week or next week would be my ones. John, what was your question again, mate? Please put it back in the chat and I'll answer it. Is it worth to save the triple captain for an unknown double for a team that plays in the FA Cup final? I mean, maybe, but I mean, we know this double's going to happen, so it's a good double for Isak, 2 home fixtures. I probably would just go for it. Bench Gvardiol or Konza, bench Savinho or Saka. I need to see that City predicted lineup and see whether or not Savinho's in it before I say that one. Gabriel to Bradley and bench Gvardiol. Don't like playing him against a double Palace attack or just roll, have the same team as you. I just roll it. I genuinely would just roll it. I spoke about this in a Q&A me and Golden did earlier in the week. And I did say that the reason I like Gvardiol is that Manchester City are currently playing a back 4 with 2 players that in FPL are not defenders. So all he's ever competing for, if Manchester City keep clean sheet for bonus points, is Ruben Diaz. It's him or Ruben Diaz will get the points. So if you go into a City game, if they win like 1 or 2-0, and say there's different goal scorers or one of them's come off the bench, whatever, you're probably going to be looking at free bonus for Gvardiol. Simple, easy, if they keep that clean sheet. We're also seeing the trend that more clean sheets are happening, less XG, better XG conceded is also happening within the Premier League right now. So I think a lot of teams have sussed each other out. So defensively, a lot of teams are better. They just are. So I get your point about not wanting to play against double Palace attack, but I still probably would go that way with Gvardiol for me personally. I have no free hit left, and I have 3 Palace, Newcastle, and 2 City with Palmer and Salah. Oh, mate, you are in a little bit of a tricky position. I guess your bench does cover you off a little bit for 34. So with that in mind, I probably would be suggesting rolling a few transfers to get enough to obviously have players in that blank game week for me personally. Play Saka, Foden, Kuzanov, Aaron Wan-Bissaka, or sell Foden to Rodgers. I probably would sell Foden to Rodgers, but I mean, you could just play Kuzanov. I don't know whether or not he's in the predicted lineups. We're going to have to take a look. But at the moment, he's not been playing within that back line, which is a little bit of a concern. So yeah, I probably would do the move to Rodgers. 1 free transfer. Henderson, Munoz and Sarr. Should I sell Bowen and Beto to get in Mateta or Murphy? Either way for a hit, since at 3 a.m. your thoughts. I probably would do that. Yeah, I probably would do that. Bench 1, Saka, Rodgers, Bowen. I mean, fixtures, you'd probably go Bowen, but I mean, with that risk of rotation, do you maybe look at a Saka? Do you look at a Rodgers? I would probably still say Bowen. When do I use the chips? Jesus. Probably wildcard this week. I'm seeing a big lack of Newcastle and thingy players. Wildcard this week. Bench boost next week. Free hit game week 34 is probably the way that I would line up with this one. Would you bench Saka, have Konza, Milenkovic and Alanga on the bench? Alanga's a bit of a doubt for the game as well. So probably playing Milenkovic ahead of Saka. It's a real tough one. Genuinely a real tough one this week regarding what to do with Saka. I think we're going to have quite a few issues with people and their teams this week for the Bukayo Saka debates. I have Foden and Saka. I have Potter as AM. I already have Munoz. Sorry, mate. Saka, Murphy, and Isak. What should I do? I have 2 free transfers. Probably get rid of Foden and upgrade your AM to Glasner would be my advice on that one. 1 free transfer, Konza to Kivior as a bench boost this week. No. Don't think I'd do that. I guess if you're looking for differentials, but then there's no double game weeks coming up, so I think there's probably better players to find within the double game weeks. Start Saka or Savinho. Let me have a look at this City predicted lineup before I suggest anything on Savinho. Where is he? FPL Meerkat. Make sure to go give Charlie a big, juicy follow for putting this thread together. It is pretty amazing, isn't it? Arsenal's predicted lineup. Trossard, no Saka, Nawari, Sterling. Yeah, heavy rotation. Villa's, Watkins, Asensio, Rodgers, Marlon, Diassi, no Konza as you can see in there. Bournemouth, if you've got Evan Nielsen, he's in there. Brentford, Embuemo and Visser. I don't imagine anybody's got anybody outside of that. Brighton, no. Chelsea, Palmer's back in, but he's been really, really poor at the in midweek. Palace have got 2, but all the big boys, Eze, Sarr, Mateta, Munoz are in all of them. Fulham, Ipswich, Leicester. Liverpool, Jota, Subitzlai. Someone asked me about Diaz earlier. Connor Bradley's there as well. City, Marmoush, Savinho, Grealish, Doku is the front 3 they're predicting. Gvardiol back at left back, Ruben, Kuzanov, Lewis. So a more defensive kind of lineup. But if they've got Gvardiol at left back, that would be very, very tasty indeed. Obviously, like I said, we will be doing a watch along a little bit later for this stream if you want to get yourselves over to that one. Gordon, apparently, I don't see it. I still think they'll probably be all unchanged for me personally. Woods in the predicted lineup for the Nottingham Forest one. Okay. No Alanga though, but Wood is in. Interesting. I don't think we've got any other ones that people are really that interested in. So yeah, there you go. Head over to Charlie's Twitter. Go and give him a cheeky little follow. Good morning, Saliba or Gvardiol. I would probably go Gvardiol ahead of Saliba. Martinez or Raya, probably would go Genuinely, I think you could flip a coin for that one. I think both defences are going to be rotated. So, yeah. Start Kirkez or Gvardiol. I would start Gvardiol. Saliba or Gvardiol. I've said I'd probably go Gvardiol. I mean, potentially KDB might start the last few games, but I mean, Pep's got to look at other alternatives, and Grealish did well in the 10 the last time he played there, so maybe he's just going to look at that as his potential. He's got to find a KDB replacement, remember? So maybe. We'll obviously see when the lineups do come out a little bit later on, whether or not he does go for KDB or whether or not he does go for Jack Grealish. We will have to wait and see. Do keep your questions coming in. Obviously, like I said, we'll do team ratings a little bit later in today's stream. Let's take a look then at the betting. Oh no, that was the fixtures. That is the fixtures. We'll start first with the fixtures. Let's talk through the fixtures. 32 and 33, we know the doubles now coming up for that one. 34, we know the teams that will be blanking. Of course, the only thing to decide is whether or not there is going to be a double game week in 36, dependent on FA Cup progression, and whether or not there are going to be blanks in game week 37. It would be really nice for me and my team if City got that double, Southampton and Bournemouth, pretty tasty, and then maybe Palace. I don't know if that's possible or not. I can't remember the way that the FA Cup fixtures do lie, but it would be very nice if that was, of course, the double game week. However, Bournemouth getting a double could be juicy, with a lot of us, of course, maybe still owning Evan Nielsen, Clivert, some Maino could be tasty as well. Forest could be a good one for the people that have held on to Chris Wood or looking to get Chris Wood back in, with Leicester and West Ham. That could be a nice little double. Of course, you get the Palace fixture and the Brentford fixture before that as well. So that could be a decent one if they were to get it. But as you can see, quite a low probability of that happening. But you never know what can happen with the FA Cup. In terms of the betting data then this week, take a look at the projected goals and clean sheet odds. A lot of goals, a lot of one-sided games with the looks of this. Usually we have kind of like a lot more of the bottom two where the data doesn't really know which to potentially predict, but it is suggesting a strong win for City. It's also suggesting a strong win for Liverpool, Arsenal, Chelsea, Brighton, Villa are also fancied as well. A lot of the home teams, Newcastle really fancied against Manchester United as well, and I think after Onana's disappointing performance midweek, why not just take a shot at that guy early doors and see what happens? Because I imagine his confidence is shot. So take an early one at that one. I think for the people that are on bench boost this week, maybe looking at Brighton players with Leicester. I know we had someone already briefly mention it in the chat already as well. That could potentially be one that could work out wonders for you as well. But yeah, could be a lot of goals this weekend. Could be a lot of fun. Hopefully so. But clean sheet odds have definitely risen in terms of the betting markets over the next few weeks, and I do think that is probably going to be a trend we are going to see continue for the remainder of the season, to be honest. Fury and Wirtz could be a really good signing for them. Whether or not they get him is a different story, though. Who should they bench out of Saka, Alanga, Gvardiol, Milenkovic? Alanga's not in the predicted lineup, so he's definitely probably going to get that bench. Thoughts on moving from Palmer to Asensio a week early? Definitely a possibility, and I have thought about it myself, but I'm probably still just going to stick with it, see how the land lies ahead of the double game week. I think I'd probably do the triple captain if I've got it this week. We know the fixtures. It's two decent ones for Newcastle. The betting data is looking pretty good as well for this Saturday fixture against Manchester United. So, yeah, why not? Why not? TC Mateta, I don't mind it, but I don't think I probably would. From Somalia, my rank is 782. Very nice, mate. Very nice. Saka benched, play Rodgers over him? Probably, but I think both could be very susceptible to some rotation this week. Hello, Tom. Greetings. 1 free transfer. Have Savinho, Gvardiol, Saliba, Gordon. Should I go Murphy and bench Savinho or Saliba, or should I roll and gamble on Gordon and use the 2 free transfers next week? Ooh. I probably would try and get Jacob Murphy in there. I'd probably do that. Playing the bench boost this week or next week. 3 Crystal Palace, 2 Newcastle, 1 Arsenal midfielder. Currently Salah, Rodgers, Enzo, Sarr and Foden. Time to dump Foden. Yeah, I probably would be maybe looking at the bench boost next week then if you've still got Foden. Unless you've got transfers, then of course you can swap them around. But I think if you can build a decent bench boost for next week, that's probably where I would be at. My captain is not on your vote, mate. It's Salah. Outscore all of these kids. It'd be interesting to see how Salah does. Recent performances for Liverpool have been down a little bit, as have Mohamed Salah's, so maybe, but maybe not. I would do Palmer to Asensio move. Easy. Fair enough, Jamie. I think I've got to give Palmer one more week, though. Ipswich. I've got to give him the Ipswich fixture, right? I've got to give him the Ipswich fixture. That's just my personal opinion anyway. I think I've got to give him the Ipswich fixture. Have Bruno and Mbeumo, Bowen, Salah and Asensio any need for a free transfer? It depends when you're playing your chips. It's really hard to give people transfer advice. if I don't know your chips as well. If you put your chips or when you're planning on playing them, that might help me give you a little bit better advice as well. Matoma to Murphy and Rogers to Asensio with a -4. Don't think I'd do the Rogers bit, but I probably would be tempted to do the Matoma to Murphy bit. Probably not. Hi Tom, benching headache. Should I start Gavardio or Konza? I play Gavardio. What did Pep say about Foden? He basically said he's a big doubt for the game. So probably would not look at going anywhere near him in my personal opinion. Top 5 defenders this week for a bench boost. Probably looking at Estupinian could be a decent one. Connor Bradley potentially as well. Maybe a Saliba, maybe a Gavardio. You've obviously got the doublers, Munoz, probably a Dan Burn, Livramento. There you go. I'm going to stick with Palmer. I know a lot of people are obviously debating whether or not he's good. I know he had a pretty stinky midweek fixture. Honked the gaff up a little bit. But I still probably would stick with Palmer, and I'm going to stick with Palmer for me personally. I've got plans next week. I've got plans next week. So I'm just going to stick with Palmer. We're going to give him this week. We're going to give him the fixture against Ipswich. That is final. That is what I'm going to do with my team. We'll look to change it next week. There you go. Would you bench boost with Martinez, Konza, Evan Nielsen, and someone for Gabriel Cucurella? I don't know whether or not Konza's plays. I really don't. I mean, Munoz is definitely not one of the Palace players I would be dropping to get Glasner in. I probably actually would be looking more towards one of the midfielders. I think him and Mateta are the essential two, really. When is the next double game week? Next game week. There you go. Thoughts on going Bradley this game week with bench boost 33 in mind? I don't mind it. Tom, I have Munoz, Saar, Mateta. I don't know who to remove for Glasner. Saar. And who would you replace their respective replacements be? I already have 3 Newcastle. Okay. So you could take a gamble on Asensio. You could. That is definitely a route. Who else would I replace them with, maybe? A gamble on Savinio, potentially. A Moreno, maybe? A Matoma with Leicester this week as well could be a decent one. I would just play the 4-4-2. I'd just play the 4-4-2. For me personally, anyway. Would you start double Arsenal defence or Martinez and Gavardiol? I probably would go... I'd throw Gavardiol in there. Have Raya as the goalkeeper pick. Play Saka or Savinio. Savinio was in the predicted lineup. Saka wasn't. So take of that what you will. Should I take out Saar for Glasner? I probably would. I think Munoz and Mateta are the essential two. The midfield pick is your personal preference who you want to go for. But if I was playing the AM chip, I probably would get rid of one of those. I can see people are quite hesitant on the TC Isak. I think it's just because of his recent performances. But I still think he's a great player and definitely would be looking at it this week, in my personal opinion. Someone said Matoma is injured. Jesus. Are we sure? I can't remember seeing that on the injury updates, but I'll have another look. You think Munoz can keep a clean sheet for the next 2? It doesn't even matter about his clean sheets. It genuinely is. It genuinely is, just because he's just unreal. He is unreal. Morning, boss. I'm thinking of benching Konza and Rogers this week and playing Milenkovic and Marmoush, unless you think any of the Villa players will start. I genuinely don't know who's going to start for Villa, so yeah, I probably would have done the same, mate. User transfer on Konza out for Dunk. I want bench boost, and this week looks really good. The problem is you'll probably want Konza back next week for their double. So, I mean, if you're building a good bench boost though for this week and you want to do that move, Fair enough. If Munoz out, who would you replace him with? Probably either a... I think the thing is, you can't find a good Villa defender, but I'd want one of them. Arsenal, maybe Kivior, potentially, or a Newcastle defender. Didn't know if you saw my previous chat, Tom. Tried to rewind if you missed your answer. I didn't, mate. If you could please put it in again, that'd be appreciated, bro. Sorry that I did miss it. The chat is getting a little bit hectic. I'm trying to keep up with as much as possible, but of course, if I do miss a question, I do apologise. The chat does move quite quick. Right, let's take a look at the projected goals then heading into this week from the betting data. Then obviously Isak is top, and this is why I'm saying to people, probably going to be the go-to captain. Looking at the poll, 89% of you have currently got him on captain. 4% for Mateta, 6% for Murphy, 1% for other. Isak's effective ownership this week, probably going to be like 160, 170, with, of course, people looking at triple captain him as well. Best for projected goals. Interestingly, Salah second. The reason I don't want to sell Palmer, third, I don't think I can sell a player ahead of that. Mateta are quite low down for projected goals. The fixtures aren't great, of course, are they? So that's probably explains why he is that far down, to be honest. But yeah, some interesting picks on there. Some really, really interesting picks. Do keep those questions coming in, though, guys. Massively appreciate everybody that is hitting that subscribe button. We actually need 10 subscribers to hit 12.9. That gets us even closer to 13k by the end of the season. That is our goal. Remember, 13,000 subscribers by the end of the season. We're trying to hit that. So, of course, if you do enjoy the content that you see on the channel, please be sure to obviously like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Morton, let's answer your question this time. Gvardiol, Williams and Saka on the bench. Bench boost now or next round? Wildcarded last week. I probably would be looking maybe more next week. Yeah, I probably would be looking more next week in my personal opinion, mate. I think with Saka being a little bit of a doubt, not the best fixture for Williams. I know Everton not bad, but yeah, Gvardiol against all your Palace assets. I probably would maybe look to next week for the bench boost. Bench one of Raya or Martinez. I genuinely think you could flip a coin on that one. I think with Arsenal both teams rotating quite heavily, I genuinely could see both of the other teams scoring against them. So maybe Raya, maybe genuinely flip a coin on that one. We've got a coin. We've got the holy coin if you want to do a coin flip on that one. Do you think City will keep a clean sheet? I'm fairly bullish on the fact that they will. Yes. Watch them score first minute of the watch along. That is definitely happening. Villa fan, Southampton will get one against us. We've been a bit of a bogey team for years. Interesting. Thank you for that update, Andy. Keep Gordon or sell for Asensio. Could you not just sell him for Jacob Murphy this week? That would be my preferred move rather than gambling on Asensio. Oh, mate, you have quite a lot of work to do there. I think you've kind of knackered yourself up with the AM chip then. You've not really thought about it greatly. I probably would be looking at dropping one of the Palace players to get Glasner in. That would be the way that I would obviously go for this chip for this week. But then at the same time, you've still got other players that you need to kind of replace as well. I think your team's a little bit... You've not really planned it out great if you were planning on using the AM chip for this week, having triple Palace and, of course, having triple Newcastle. Don't think you've quite thought it out as well as you thought, to be honest. Best Clivert replacement, probably looking at a double game week player, Saar, Murphy this week. They're probably the only two that I would be looking to bring in. I think for me, a lot of transfers are probably going to be roll for this week because there's so much risk of rotation that could happen for the teams that we want to, of course, invest in heading into next week. I think a player that not a lot of people are talking about, though, could be somebody like a Trossard, could be a decent potential differential shout this week. Obviously, in the predicted lineup, so he could be a decent one as well. I have Foden and Saka, play one of them, sell Foden to Asensio. I've seen a lot of people suggesting this Foden to Asensio move. I'm just not sure on the minutes. I'm genuinely just not sure on the minutes. And what's to say Emery's not got a plan to use him in the next in the next Champions League round, start him and bench him again. Just a thought. Just a thought. If scrap the bench boost, play Marmoush or Evan Nielsen, benched his haul last week. I mean, he's in really good form, isn't he? He's in really good form, so I probably would play him ahead of Marmoush. What are you thinking about with the triple? I've already used my triple captain, but I probably would go Isak this week. AM this week or next week? I mean, definitely play it this week. You've got Glasner, 2 chances of table bonus. But if you are going to play it this week, you then have to navigate blank game week 34. So do just be wary if you are going to activate it this week. Hello, Tom. Should I sell Saka for Palmer? I don't think I would do that. I'm looking to offload Palmer next week for Saka, interestingly. I think Saka's just one of those where you might just have to bite the bullet. Bench him for this week is probably the way that you're going to have to go with this one. Which keeper would you go for on the bench boost? Have 3 Palace and Newcastle, 2 Forest defenders and Raya. Bench boost this week or next week is the question. If you're going this week for Berger, next week probably Areola. Yes, I will still be doing the watch along a little bit later for the Manchester City game. We've got everything prepped and prepared for that. I'm really looking forward to that. So hopefully the stream does well. It is something that I thought about doing for a while. We're going to have a big one for the Game Week 38, obviously final games. We're going to do it in my living room where I've got like a free TV setup and kind of roll with that one. Play Gvardiol, Milenkovic, Munoz, Livramento, or take a hit out for Foden and bench one of the defenders. I probably would just play one of the defenders. This is the thing, Foden's a doubt for this week, but if he's fine for next week, a lot of people will probably want him back for the double game week. So it's a real it genuinely is a real difficult one what to do with Phil Foden. But I think if you can get past maybe benching him this week, you've got a team that you can put out that you're confident in, that might be the better play. I mean, and Bremo's one of those where you could just ride it out, and post-game week 34, the fixtures are really looking good. And the replacements probably would be a City or a Villa player with their double game week next week. But again, there's too much rotation for me to even go there at the moment. What transfers am I doing? I'm not doing any. We're going to roll. I'm pretty confident about how the team is lining up, so we're just going to roll. Foden is a massive doubt for this game week. Yes. Yeah. I probably would go for the... I'd probably go for the triple... I'd probably go for it. Yeah, I probably would go the triple captain if I had my chip left. Nice. I like that, Ryan. I like that they were on the same team. I wonder where you got the ideas of inspiration from, hey? I'm only messing, bro. Hopefully it's a good week for me and you then, mate. Hopefully so. Will Gvardiol start? O'Reilly could get another start. I think Gvardiol will start, yes. What have City got to rotate for? Genuinely, what have City got to rotate for at this point in the season? Not too much. Not too much, have they? When to triple captain and for who? I probably would be looking at this week. I think this week is a decent week to use that triple captain chip. I genuinely do. I think you could do it next week, but I think a lot of people will be looking at other chips next week. The bench boost, free hit potentially. So yeah, I probably would go that one. But at the same time, there is the doubles in 36 if you want maybe a little bit of an advantage there. Potentially could be some decent players, but again, you could end up with like a Bournemouth, Forest, I don't know. There could be 2 really crappy doubles, and you could be sat there going, I really wish I'd used it on Alexander Isak with 2 home fixtures. I think that's probably the way you've got to look at it, is you know for certain the fixtures that are this week if you've got the triple captain, right? You know that Isak's got a poor United side. They're going to play a Palace side that won't have Mark Gahey either, who is so important to their defensive attributes. at home for both fixtures, top of the projected goals for this game week, I think I probably would just go Alexander Isak triple captain rather than play the unknown in game week 36. Yes, we could get that City fixture, but who would you feel confidently backing out of Manchester City for a triple captain? Marmoush? But what if Haaland's back at that point? Again, like, it's quite a while away, 36, so yeah, I probably, would go like that, in my personal opinion. No worries, mate, anytime. I wish I got Saliba instead of Gvardiol. I mean, Gvardiol's going to be fine. I won't worry about it. Konza not starting. He's not in the predicted lineups from Charlie. Was benched last Premier League week as well. I think there's just going to be so much rotation. I genuinely would not be looking to bring in any Villa players, any Arsenal players this week. I think if you can put a team out that can play, that would probably be the way that I would go on that one. I genuinely think that I would not look at any Villa players, not look at any Arsenal players. Just try and get a team out that you know is going to probably be more secure in minutes than taking a gamble on these players this week. No worries, mate. I genuinely think that just could be the case. If we load up the fixtures here, right, you could get another Palace double, but Tottenham and Wolves, not great. Southampton and Bournemouth is a good double, with one of them being at home as well. The harder fixture, you'd say, being at home. But, again, we don't know which players I would confidently back for my captain and my triple captain for that week. Bournemouth, Villa and City, that's not a good double. Villa, Bournemouth and Tottenham, I don't think I'd go near it. Tottenham of Palace and Villa, no. Wolves of Brighton and Palace, maybe you go Cunha triple captain. Forest, you probably go Chris Wood with Leicester and West Ham. That's probably the best set of doubles you could get. But with that being one of the lower percentages, probably wouldn't go for it. So I think if you've got that triple captain chip left, we know what this double is. It's a good double for Isak. I probably would just play the chip. 36 for me seems a little bit too chaotic. 33, your best set of fixtures in there, are going to be for City or are going to be for Arsenal. And you're probably looking at Bukayo Saka. But if they progress, what's to say Saka doesn't miss the Ipswich game or starts on the bench again, with them, of course, looking at Champions League football. So yeah, I think someone's just made a great point in the chat as well. Villa are still chasing a Champions League spot. Why would they rotate heavily? I think they will, though, because look at the fixtures that they've got next week, right? Newcastle and City are their big competitors. So what they're going to have is they're going to have this fixture here. Then they're going to have the midweek Champions League game. Then they're heading into a big clash with Newcastle, who they arguably need to beat if they want to be competing for top 4. Same with City as well, to really get themselves back into the Champions League next season, right? Because there's two ways that they will qualify for the Champions League next season. It's league position, or it is going to be the knockout and winning the whole damn thing. Now they're 3-1 down in Paris, they're probably thinking that route is out. We're going to have to do this the hard way and qualify through the league again, right? They'll be looking at where can we get the breaks for the players. It is going to be the Southampton fixture. It genuinely is. Because I think you could put most rotated Premier League sides up against Southampton and still come away with 3 points. They've not got a manager. They're down. Morale is at an all-time low over there. Confidence is shot. So I think they'll be looking at that fixture going, where can we realistically get a break for our players? And they will be going, it will be game week 32. Because then in 34, yes, they've got a blank, but it's an FA Cup fixture for them. And then they might have another double game week further down the line. So they'll be looking, where can we get a break for our key men? It will be this Southampton fixture. And even the rotated Villa squad that we've seen is still really, really strong. Like, it's got Watkins in there. It's got Asensio in there. Rodgers is still being predicted to play as well. So, yeah. I genuinely think that is why there'll be a lot of rotation in today's Arsenal squad and Aston Villa squad. But if you don't think so, back the Villa players, but that's not the way that I think I would probably play this week. FA Cup as well, yep. Great point, Andy. Great point, mate. Do I think Saka will start? He's not in the predicted lineup from Charlie, so I probably would err on the side of caution on that one. Tom, 3 out of Munoz, Saliba, Gvardiol, Burn. Burn, Munoz, and Gvardiol probably would be the one for me. No, yeah, I don't think you'll play a weak team in the FA Cup as well. So where are you getting that break in? You're not, are you? So yeah, it is that fixture there that you will be looking at. FPL Freddy says he's a Saints fan as well. We are awful. We've been getting an odd goal, have scored in 9 games out of the last 11. So Villa might concede as well. There we go. Adds further fuel to the fire, I guess. Yep, Arsenal could also play extra time midweek. I think that's definitely something that Arteta will have factored in. So again, I do think there'll probably be a lot of rotation. Honestly, mate, I think with Raya and Martinez, both sides will be heavily rotated. I think you could probably flip a coin on which one you want to go for. Gvardiol or Nico Williams bench one, which would you recommend? Probably Nico Williams, in my personal opinion. I think Gvardiol, with his effective ownership as well, is something to always consider if you're thinking about benching him. His effective ownership is probably going to be quite high with a lot of people having him. A lot of people are probably looking at bringing him in ahead of the doubles as well. So, yeah, that's where I'd sit on that one. Hello, my team is Reyes, Sells, Munoz, Canate, Livramento, Gvardiol, Estepinian, Moreno, Salah, Palmer, Murphy, Saka, Isak, Marmoush. Do I TC Isak or bench boost and TC Saka? I probably would do it the TC Isak bench boost 33, mate. Yeah, I probably would take that hit on Bellegarde for Asensio. I think I would. I think I'd take that gamble. I took a risk since I still have my TC chip left and used it on Isak. Now, I don't think that's a risk. I genuinely do not think that's a risk. I think it's a really smart decision, so I don't mind that. TC 32, wildcard 35, bench boost 36, or wildcard plus TC slash bench. I mean, it depends what your team looks like. I can't really dictate what your captaincy and your chip strategy is going to look like if I don't know what your team's going to look like, really, or what your team looks like now, personally. Have I played my triple captain yet? Yes, I played it ages ago, early part of the season, when Haaland had Southampton and created like 3 XG, but only got 1 attack in return. Yeah, that's when I used mine. I just feel like it's one of those chips that could have been used in a single game week, and if it popped off for Haaland, fair play. No. Why would it be better to keep Munoz? If Munoz has got higher ownership, that means he's going to be a bigger threat to your rank, so keep him in. Who to start out of 8 Nuri, Saka, Kirkez and Rashford? Probably going to be... Probably going to be either Kirkez or 8 Nuri. I just don't think I could trust Saka or Rashford right now. Yeah, I think your bench is like very, very, very prone to some risk of rotation today. It could be. Gvardiol or Saliba? I've said to people I probably would go Gvardiol. If you're chasing rank, go Glasner. You've got 2 chances of table bonus. It took me from around 30k to the top 10k, so that would be my suggestion on that one. Yes, I probably would start either Canate or Gvardiol ahead of Foden with the news that we got from Pep last night. Probably would be the way that I'd go on that one. But hope don't need a bench or sell Gabriel for 30. But yeah, I think you should be okay. Hopefully you don't need that bench. I don't think I'd move them. This is the thing. People are saying, like, they've got such short-sighted minds of going, right, well, I'm going to sell Konza, I'm going to sell Saka. You want them back for next week if they're starting. Because they've both got doubles, remember. So do just bear that in mind. If you can get by with a little bit of a ropier team, I think it's genuinely going to be fine this week. I think there's going to be a lot of rotation within the Villa, within the Arsenal squads. So that's probably the way I'd go on that. This is the thing, right? I get you probably want a lower differential player, but if Munoz does anything, it doesn't matter if you chase him rank, because he'll just knock you straight back down. Do you have any chips left to play? Yes, I have the bench boost and the free hit. So we're going to bench boost next week, and then we're going to play the free hit in game week 34. Probably wouldn't bench boost with that. Do I think Timber starts? No. No, I do not. The guy was honestly on the ground more than I've ever seen any player. He was just hobbling around. Yeah, Andy's got the right idea this week. I genuinely think this week is not a week to be attacking like Villa or Arsenal. It's a week that you should just be rolling your transfers, taking as many as you can into the double game week next week. There's going to be rotation. We know that. We know Villa and Arsenal are going to rotate. I just don't think... Yeah, I genuinely don't think it's worth like even looking at for me personally. Raya or Emery has been the big one, so I'm just going to flip a coin on that one. I genuinely am. Right. Heads is going to be Raya. Tails is going to be Martinez. Okay? Heads, Raya. There you go. The coin has spoken. There you go. Timber or Digne. Oh my days. Maybe take the gamble on Digne, Jess. I just can't see Timber playing. I really can't. Who should I bench? Palmer or Marmouche? Probably Marmouche. You can't bench Palmer at Ipswich at home. Surely not. Surely that's a fixture you just can't bench him. That is also true. If either goalkeeper, you pick either goalkeeper and one of them is rotated, the goalkeeper's not going to usually come on, is he, for like 60 minutes? So, yeah. Williams or Gvardiol? Probably would go Gvardiol. Should I sell Timber to Kivior? Can't afford Saliba. The only thing I would say around Kivior is Ben White is back, so that potentially might impact his minutes. Calafiori is also apparently back within training. That could also impact Kivior's future minutes as well. So maybe just one to monitor on that one. I think if you can get away with maybe just benching him this week, that might potentially be the better play to go for. Morning, Tom. Is a bench boost better than a TC this week, as my bench is good and I don't know if it's going to be good again, and I'm a free hit 34, so can't use the chip next week. Could be decent in 36, mate, if you get some doublers in, but it depends who you've got on that bench and whether or not there's a lot of risky rotation players within there. Start Rodgers or Saka? Probably go Rodgers. He's in the predicted lineups. I've not seen Saka in them. Villa midfielders likely to play this week and the double. Genuinely, if I knew, I probably would put a bet on the lottery this week. Asensio probably will because he was benched for the Champions League game. But there's nothing to really say that because Asensio was benched midweek that automatically means that he's going to play today. They could just be the situation where they go, right, we need Asensio for the Champions League game. We're going to bench him again. There's absolutely nothing to say that's going to be the case. So, I genuinely would just not even bother looking at it for me personally. Genuinely, I don't think I would. Rodgers or Williams? I probably would take the gamble on Rodgers this week, but again, I'd be interested to hear what Golden Goal's thoughts are on all of this as well. I'd be interested to see what Tom says around rotation and Villa players and stuff like that. But that's my personal opinion on the situation at the moment, and that is the way that I'm leaning on things. Isak triple captain, yeah, I've spoke about this as well. I said I definitely would play that triple captainship on Alexander Isak this week. Do keep your questions coming in. Stop 3, Munoz, Livramento, Konza, Saliba and Gvardiol. Munoz, Livramento, Gvardiol. Done. Then go for the wild card now and save the TC or bench boost for 33. Go down that route. There you go. Milenkovic or Gvardiol. Gvardiol to Konza is an interesting choice. I mean, not when Konza's not in the predicted lineup, so there we go. I think Tom's a better content creator than Tom. I mean, I don't know if that's a slight at me or a praise. So, yeah. Let me know which way is that. Let me know which way you're going on that one. That could be a slight at me. Bench Bowen or Saka? I probably would bench Saka, you know. I think with it being a risk of rotation, probably would bench Saka. Saka versus Savinho, any preference? I've seen Savinho in predicted lineups. I've not seen Saka. So probably would go Savinho. Take your pick. I'm asking you, bro. You're the one who made the comment. You're the one who made the comment. I'll let Tom know either way. Brilliant. Brilliant. Konza is not a 90-minute man. He is not a 90-minute man. This was the last game that he played. 45 minutes. He came on at half-time. Didn't start the game. He very easily could start today's game, but with him starting the Champions League game, I doubt it. Again, I think there'll be a lot of rotation. So I've just saved the headache of just seeing the rotated players. I've just saved myself. I sold Gabriel this week. Would you do Saliba, which only allows to Livramento to Wan-Bissaka after the double, or Kivior and Bradley combination? Yeah, I probably would. I probably would be maybe benching 8 Nuri or Nico. I just fancy Gvardiol. I can't explain it to people, but I just think City look a lot better defensively at the moment. It is the early kickoff, so my other choice probably would be Nico Williams. Forest have been really good defensively this year, throughout the whole year. So if you wanted to go for Nico Williams, he's got a lot more attacking threat, especially if Gvardiol is playing centre-back again. But looking at some of the predicted lineups, he could be playing at that left-back position, where we know he is very, very good and very, very attacking. I probably would maybe mix it up a little bit, go Konate if there's going to be a lot of Arsenal rotation. Yeah, I probably would play either Van Dijk or Gvardiol over Konza, to be honest. Do a coin flip for Mateta or Isak. I'm guessing you mean in terms of captaincy for this week. We can do that, bro, for you. Heads is going to be Mateta. Tails is going to be Isak, all right? It's heads, but it's flew out my... It's tails, actually. There you go, tails. It was a lot easier when the Prem teams used to go out of the round of 16, but here we are, I guess. Best Saka / Foden replacement. I think the thing is with Saka, a lot of us will probably want to look at him next week for that Ipswich and obviously the double game week fixture. So I don't think he's going to be the easiest sell this week. Foden, definitely more of a sell, but again, we don't know what the situation is. He could very easily play both the double game weeks next week. So I think in terms of the replacements, I genuinely, unless you're bringing in a Newcastle or a Palace midfielder for them, I don't think I'd do anyone. I think I'd probably just maybe sit on my hands, play with what I've got this week, and don't make any kind of luxury moves that could end up with egg on your face a little bit further down the line. Saw or Eze, I genuinely think you could flip a coin for either of these two. I think with Eze's injury record, I probably would be a little bit more tempted with Saw. Morning, Tom. What's your future plan for Gabriel? Assume Saliba, but which non-Arsenal defender? It actually isn't. The current plan that I have got is Kivior. We're going to do Dan Burn to Ruben Diaz, Jacob Murphy to Rodgers, and I can't remember the other move. Palmer to Saka was the moves that I've got planned for next week for a -4. But again, we might have to wait and see. Team reviews will be done at past, so get your team sent to me over on Twitter. We'll get some of those done as well. Best Aston Villa defender for minutes. Honestly, trying to predict Villa minutes is a joke. It genuinely is a joke trying to predict them, because I wouldn't want to confidently say he's going to start all 3 games. He's not going to start all 3 games. Yeah. I think Martinez is probably the only one I probably would say, yeah, he's going to start all 3 games. But yeah, I don't know. Hi, would you want to start Marmoush or Mbuemo? Probably Marmoush. Bench boost 32 or 33. Sells Henderson, Konate, Livramento, Williams, Salah, Saka, Palmer, Murphy, Rodgers. Probably would bench boost 33. Yeah, I probably would go 33. I just think... I guess you could do it this week. I just think, though, that Saka, if you've got him, Rodgers, there's just too many unknowns this week for the bench boost. Would you take a -4 to get a bench boost done this week? I think Asensio will score and Kivior clean sheet. If you think that, go for it. Use your gut. I don't mind that. I just, again, though, I'm just not for it this week. I'm really not. Start 4, Saka, Salah, Murphy, Savinho, Rodgers. Salah, Murphy, Savinho, and then probably Rodgers would be the 4 that I'd go for. Bench Saka. DQ questions coming in, guys. Any that you do have. Obviously, we'll be live till around 9 o'clock. That's when we'll wrap up. We'll wrap up around 9 o'clock. And then, obviously, we'll let the big boys do their thing all the way up until the deadline. So, I know a lot of you do enjoy them. So, yeah. That's kind of the way I sit on that. Yeah, we let the big boys do their thing from 9 o'clock onwards. But we will be back for another stream a little bit later today. We'll be doing our first ever watch along on the channel. We've got everything kind of prepared for it. I actually might be able to show you the setup. Hang on, let me see if it works. All right, this could go horribly wrong. It could go great. So this is currently... Oh, no, it's just frozen on me. There we go. I just look like a right NPC in that. I need to put the camera back in, but yeah, that's basically the setup, how it's going to look, pretty much. So we're going to have the stats on the left, the score at the top, the chat on the right, and me down the middle, but a little bit to the right, because that's obviously where the camera is kind of positioned with my chair. But yeah, I look like a right NPC in that one. My next rogue one is going to be a Captain Murphy. Ooh, that'd be good. I hope it works out for you, mate. I hope it works out for you. You going to use your bench boost this week? No. Look at my bench. It's not bench boost worthy. Thoughts on Konza and Saka's minutes? Probably not going to be great. Neither are in the predicted lineup, so yeah, I don't think I'd go net either of them. Free hit, go Diassi this week, but sell him next week, so that don't make sense, obviously. I'm guessing you're answering someone's question in the chat, Andy. Bum 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 bum. Which AM for this week? I think go Glasner. The table bonus is just too tempting. It really, really is. Glasner for table bonus. Then you've got obviously Howe. If you went for Howe last week, I don't think I'd change it up. I'd just stick with Howe. But of course, if you didn't go for Howe, maybe you tried to chase the table bonus last week, I'd try and chase it again. Bro, I was just like proper hitting the NPC pose there, wasn't I? Proper hitting it. Stop Bowen or Rodgers. I mean, you do play Rodgers in that scenario, I think. I mean, you could go KDB final game, but he definitely will come off, I reckon, around 70-80. They'll give him a round of applause from the stadium. You always see it. So he will come off at some point, so you're not going to get a full night out of him. Oops. But if you've got a feeling, go for it. Yes, we'll be doing team reviews at past. So if you want to get your team sent to me, do for it. Do it. Couldn't speak then. Genuinely couldn't speak. Do you think Ollie Watkins will start? I do think Ollie Watkins will start, yes. If I had the TC, I would be looking to lump it on Alexander Isak this week. Yes. Would to Mateta for a -4, -8 in total? Probably would, yeah. Probably would. Probably would on that one. Right, it is around past. Let's just... Murphy or Barnes? Murphy with, of course, Anthony Gordon looming. Don't think I'd go near Barnes at the moment. Right, let's head over to Twitter. Let's take a look at some teams that have been sent in by you guys. Lots have been sent in this week. Great to see. Of course, if you do want to get your team sent in, head over to my Twitter, at FPLTom_. And, yeah, we'll get some teams done. I did Rashford to Marlon, who to bench. Ooh. I think that's probably the right bench, to be honest. Yeah, probably the right bench. Probably would stick with that, mate. Hi, mate. Saka to Palmer just for this game week and get back next game week? No, I don't think... I think that's just wasting transfers for me, personally. I think if you're that unsure, just play Saliba ahead of Saka or play Rodgers ahead of Saka and take the minutes risk on that one. Tom FPL says, Mbuemo to Eze, overall 24k. Very nice. Team's looking a little bit questionable with Trent still there, but hey-ho. Rest of the team, though, looking good for this week, mate. Bench boost active, 2 free transfers. I sell Rashford to Minter. I'm on 33 free hits, so don't need doublers next week. And Minter gives me a player to navigate 34 with. Nice, okay. That's fine then. I just don't know whether or not Rashford is going to play, but the rest of the bench boost looks okay. Definitely can get by. This is my team. Start Saka or Savinho, Konza or Gavardio. I have 2 free transfers now and 0.3 mil in the bank. Also, triple captain Isak or Marmoush in 36 against Southampton, another team. I probably would still have the TC on Isak this week. I've spoke about that at length. In terms of the transfers for this week, start Saka or Savinho. I still think I maybe would take the gamble on Saka. I know he's not in the predicted lineups. And I probably would start Gavardiol ahead of Konza, yeah. And 2 free transfers, I'd just roll them. Get them rolling. Hi, Tom. I have 3 subs available. I think Gordon to Murphy and Clivert to Moreno. Yeah, Gordon to Murphy. And I don't mind Clivert to Moreno, you know. Double game week next week. Yeah, go for that. Go for that. Jess, 3 free transfers, not in the bank. No free hit or wild card. TC Isak this week. Plan to hold. Probably bench boost next week. Nice. Good. Team looks good. Abby, who is competing in a gymnast tournament. Shout out to Abby in the chat. She says, here is how my team is looking. Still need to decide between Saliba and Gavardio and Saka and Rodgers and Sabitslai. Ooh. I probably would play Sabitslai ahead of Saka. And then I guess you've got a toss-up, haven't you, really, between Gavardio and Saliba. And then, yeah, I definitely think I would play Saka ahead of... Szoboszlai ahead of Saka. And then I probably would leave Morgan Rogers in there. I probably would. Probably would. That's the way that I go on that one, Abby. 2.2 million in the bank. Bench boost next week. Free hit, Tom. Tom is a better creator than Tom. 2.2 million in the bank. Bench boost next week. I probably would just recommend rolling then this week, mate. I think the team looks in decent shape. Roll. Build those transfers up. That would be my plan on that one. 7.8k overall. Debating Milenkovic instead of Saka for a back four. Mateta over Isak. I still think I'd go Isak, Jamie, to be honest. I think you've got to factor in. I know you don't like to talk about effective ownership, but you've got to factor in that he's probably going to be triple captain by a lot of people. His effective ownership probably going to be like 150, 160 this week. So I think that would be my big concern. 150, 160 EO. Just play it safe, mate. You're in a good position. Play the safe captain pick. I don't think there's any need to do it like a little bit risky, to be honest. Gabriel to Bradley, start him or roll. I mean, you don't even really need to make that move. You probably could just sit on it for another week. I think I'd just sit on it for another week. Graham has sent his team across. Nice teammate. Barnes in there. Maybe Gordon sees the second game or reduced minutes for Barnes would be my only concern. But yeah, looks good. Triple captain Isak or wait for another day double game week. I've spoken about this at length. I probably would just triple captain Isak. We know what double we're getting this week. The doubles that we could get further down the line could be a little bit dicey and not really great for a triple captain. So yeah, that's how I'd lean on that one. Start Marmoush or Saka. I would probably go Marmoush. Isak CO will be over 200 this week. What's his ownership? 61. It genuinely could be close like 190, 200. Jesus. Yeah, it could be high. Savinho is in the predicted lineup, so yeah, I do think he starts ahead of Saka. Thank you for helping the stream get to 12.9k. 12.9k subscribers. We need 99 people to hit that 13k mark. That is the aim for the end of the season. Of course, we are running out of double game weeks. There will be a stream at 12:15 for the City game. We're going to be doing our first ever watch along. I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be decent. And yeah, obviously if we get 100 likes on today's stream as well, we'll probably do a spin on the spinny chair because someone asked for it. Should I get Eze or Sarr from -4? Depends who you -4 in for. Whom to start, Konate or Gvardiol? I've gone with Gvardiol. Saka or Savinho? Savinho. I guess it's time to make some memes about effective ownership. I guess it is, Jamie. I guess it is. I mean, if you don't see him getting any returns, why did you pick him in the first place? Is my next comment on that one. That's the one. When do I wildcard? I have wildcard but no free hit. Maybe wildcard post game week 34, potentially. We'll have a better way of... yeah, probably game week 35 is probably where you're going to wildcard. So get doublers in, build transfers, use pretty much dead end your team into the blank game week, then wildcard out of it for the rest of them. When do I plan to bench boost? I plan to bench boost next game week. There's a lot of transfers that I've got planned. That's why I'm looking to build as many as I possibly can. We don't really know too much about risk of minutes this week, so that's why I'm going the other way around. Who to start? Saka, Rogers, or Saliba? Probably Saliba out of all of them. At least I could probably say his minutes are a little bit more secure than the other two. Play Raya over Verbergen. I mean, if you've got Verbergen this week, Leicester are terrible. I swear there's a statistic saying they haven't scored in 12 hours of football. So yeah, I probably would play Verbergen. Yeah, I mean, if you've not got the free hit for 34, at least it gives you a player that way as well. Fair enough, Jamie. I hope it works out for you, mate. I do hope it works out for you, but I do fear what could happen. I would play Gvardiol. Bournemouth at the moment are struggling quite bad. They are struggling quite bad. Make sure you are hitting that like button. Like I said, if we could get to 100 likes on today's stream, I will do a spin on the swivelly chair. If you want to see that, it's definitely worth a like. So yeah, there's 171 of you in here. We've got 83 likes. We can definitely hit that 100. What would be your top 3 differential captains be? Murphy, Mateta, probably Salah. Wild to say that Salah's a differential captain, but this week definitely is going to be one. Four's not terrible. I think just roll. Mate. Target next double game week, not this double game week, with those transfers, and see what you get with the. You're obviously going to need to keep some players around as well for the free hit, the blank in 34. So do just bear that in mind. Oh mate, no worries. Get yourself to bed. That late in Colombia, get yourself to bed, mate. Genuinely, get yourself some sleep, get some rest. And by the time the game actually kicks off, the City game, it'll be morning for you, so you can come back for the watch along. I don't know if I have mentioned it, but I'm going to mention it again. There will be a watch along at 12:30, so make sure you're getting yourself along for that one. It's going to be good. It is going to be good. I'm looking forward to it. I hope people enjoy it. But yeah, I think it's going to be really, really decent. Is Saka fit to start? Arteta has said yes, but I think with the Champions League fixture coming up, there's probably going to be quite a lot of rotation. I don't know who I would bench if I took a hit to sell Foden to Palmer. Who's on your bench, mate? Tempted to bench. I mean, I think you could just play all of those. I genuinely think you could just play all of those, Duncan. I think it is one of those weeks where I wouldn't do too much with my team in terms of transfers. I probably would just sit on my hands, play with maybe a little bit of a weaker team, rather than bringing in a player that, yes, doubles next week or doubles... Yeah, yes, that doubles next week, but if they're a risk for this week, I don't think I'd go near them. I would play João Pedro over all of those players there. He was very high up in the Rob T FPL predicted goals list. So yeah, that's the way that I'd lead on that one. Yeah, I think this has been one of the more exciting Premier Leagues. I think if Liverpool hadn't run away with the league, it definitely would have been even more exciting. But we can't have it all our own way, can we, I guess? Martinez or Raya, start 2 out of Mikalenkovic, Gvardiol and Savinho. Probably Gvardiol and Milenkovic, and we did a coin flip earlier and it landed on Martinez. So there you go. I mean, Watkins will definitely play this week. I don't know about his minutes longer term, though. We're heading into the next double game week would probably be my my thought on that one. But yeah, no Isak as well on a wild card this week could be really, really dicey. Yeah, it could be really, really dicey. Should I start Savinho over Gvardiol? Probably not. Should I start Saka or Rodgers or Marmoush? I think Marmoush is probably the most secure in minutes there, so I probably would go with him. Raya or Martinez? We did a coin flip for this one earlier. It landed on Martinez, so take of that what you will. By the way, we are sat on 90 likes. If we get to 100, we do a spin on the swivelly chair. So if you want to see that one, go for it. Gabriel to Cucurella to get 2 attackers from Arsenal. What 2 attackers would you want, though, from Arsenal? But outside of Saka, maybe like Moreno, but I wouldn't be like overly gagging to get him in. I'd prefer to have 2 defenders. For me personally, anyway. I mean, Anthony Gordon might play. He genuinely might play. So, or you could do the move to Murphy. Either do the move to Murphy for Gordon, or like I said, just sit on your hands and roll, really. Is a TC worth it on Isak? Yeah, I definitely think a TC is going to be worth it this week on Isak. There's the mirror. There's the mirror. I've just got my feet on my bed because my legs were hurting a little bit on the floor. I'm now on my cut, which is fun. So we're eating a lot less, moving a lot more, which is good. Like we're doing incline treadmill. Like it's honestly, I've never sweated so much on incline treadmill. 4.5 speed for 40 minutes. My God, I am dripping. I'm dripping with sweat. So yeah, my legs are a little bit tired today. We did one last night. We've done 4 this week. I don't think we'll do any more this week, but hopefully we've got that summer bod in us. TC or bench boost this week. Depends how your team looks, but I think TC is probably the better shout for that. Does Gordon take Murphy's place if he plays? No, he'll take Barnes' place. Start Raya or Martinez. We did a coin flip for this one earlier. It landed on Martinez, so that's the way that the coin is spoken. I genuinely think it is a coin flip decision which way you want to go. Both defenses are rotating, so yeah. Training for the triathlon. No, I don't think I'll ever do like a triathlon or anything like that. Is he doing a triathlon? He's kept that quiet if he is. Bro, there is so many questions going off in the chat. If I don't read one of them, do apologise. But at the end of the day, there's so many people flying in the chat here. Isak Trouble Captain, definitely so. Bodybuilding channel coming with the vest for the boys. Hey, the vest got absolutely slammed last time. It got absolutely slammed. Did it land on Raya? Oh, if it landed on Raya, whoops. But at the end of the day, I do think it is one of those decisions where it's like, eesh. But yeah, if you do want to see some gym content, I can post some stuff over on Twitter. But I'm not like a massive I'm not like a massive gym lad, if you know what I mean. But I take good care of myself. I'm a lot bigger than I ever was when I was like 21. Like I used to be built like a little thin stick. Would FPL Harry get into your alternative cartel? He would not. He's already in the existing cartel. He's too established. Too established for us. He wouldn't get a seat at our table. Only joking, Harry. If you want to apply, get yourself down, mate. Get yourself down. By the way, we are only 2 likes away from 100. So if you haven't already liked the stream, make sure you are liking it. It does push it out to more people. And of course, if we hit 100 likes, you get to see me spin on the swivelly chair. There you go. Should I put place in my team? What does that mean? What does place mean? 99 likes now on the stream. Come on. Yeah, I mean, if you want to invite him to our new cartel, be my guest. We have just hit 100 likes. There we go. Thank you very much, guys, for helping the stream hit 100 likes. We're going to do a spin on the spinny chair now. And let's do it. Start Saka or Rodgers? I probably would go Rodgers on that one. Thank you very much for 100 likes. Let's do a spin on the spinning chair. Just back it up a little bit, Terry. Back it up, Terry. Are you ready? Dignified. The most dignified spin you could ever see a man do on a chair. Wow. It kind of went slow and I was just looking at myself in the mirror, which felt a little bit weird. But yeah, thank you very much, guys, for helping the stream get 100 likes. We've done a spin on the spinny chair. The The vest. The vest. I think we're going to have to do a stream in the vest, aren't we? I guess you've got Howe and Newcastle. Only one Palace, though. I'd want Mateta and I'd want Munoz would be the two. I think anything outside of that is extra, but yeah, Munoz and Mateta would be the ones that I'd want. Those would be the players that I would want. Hope everyone enjoyed the little spin on the spinny chair. That was riveting. Oh dear, dear, dear. You've got to be careful what you do with those hands with that precious mirror angle. Yeah, it does look like I'm like just scratching my dick or like wanking off, isn't it? Really, I don't know if I was doing that on the camera, but yeah, I probably had like a little scratch. But yeah, I do have to be careful. There we go. If I sit like this, then I can scratch away all day long, baby. 2 Palace is a must. 3 is not a must. Yeah, 3 is extra. 2, definitely so. Mateta and Munoz are my top picks. I've said that from the start. They're the 2 that, of course, I would be looking at. Everybody else, for me, does seem as just a little bit unnecessarily. Thank you for a great stream, by the way, guys. Today, guys, we are of course going to wrap up around 9 o'clock. We'll let the big boys do their thing for their 2 hours. But like I said, I will be back a little bit later for the watch along. So yeah. The watch along will be at 12:15 today for the Manchester City game, and the other channel. The other channel, if you want to go and check that out as well, there's lots of content coming up over Easter weekend. We're going Bradford, Notts County on the Thursday. Then I'm going to a different game on the Friday, but not filming it. Then we're going to a game potentially on the Saturday where we will be filming it. Then the Monday where we will be filming it. So yeah, lots of content coming on that channel over the next few days. So if you haven't checked that channel out already, feel free to. There is a link in the description, or if you head to my page as well, you'll see it pop up. Tom Langford, feel free to check that out. If a mod wants to slap in the both of those links, that would be great. We'll leave the OnlyFans vest content to the yeah, that's on Twitter as well if you want to go and find that out. The OnlyFans vest content. There you go. If you fancy some OnlyFans vest content, go for it. Oh dear, dear, dear. That vest. Genuinely, I can't believe the comments we got around the vest. It was ridiculous. Genuinely ridiculous. Oh dear. What are we going to do, eh? What are we going to do? Only this channel would get absolutely slandered for wearing a vest. Do keep your questions coming in. Any that you do have ahead of the deadline. Obviously, I know a lot of the more established big boys will probably start heading live within the next few minutes, so I do get it. Only piece of content I don't want to check out from him. Bro, that's so mean. That's so mean. Should I take Saka out to get Murphy in? I don't think so. You'd want probably Saka in for next week. Isak triple captain? Definitely so. Should I start Cliver or Bowen? I'd actually take a gamble on Bowen. Liverpool defensively have looked a little bit unsturdy in recent weeks. So yeah, I probably would go for the Bowen one. Send my team pro on Twitter. Cool, we'll take a look at that one very quickly before we wrap up. Need to sell Bowen to someone differential? Why? If you bench boost in next week, Bowen's got Southampton, so why would you sell him ahead of that? I'd keep Bowen. You don't need to sell him for someone differential. What do you think of the team? Who to start and bench have done the bench correctly? Yeah, I probably think you have done the benching correctly. I mean, Visser. I think I would take the gamble of Saka ahead of Visser. I think I would. I mean, I would take the Saka ahead of Visser. Yeah, I said it right. I did say it right. Honestly, I think if you can get by with just benching and bringing in no one, that's probably going to be the better move. I really just don't trust rotation this week. I think it's going to be massive. Henderson or Raya for goalkeeper. I mean, you've got to play Henderson this week with the double game week, haven't you? Probably would go Saka out of all of those. Glasner or Howe. I mean, it's got to be Glasner, hasn't it? Back-to-back double game weeks. 3 chances of table bonus. He's going to be the pick. He's going to be the pick. Ladies. Right, guys, I think we're going to wrap it up there. You guys have been absolutely amazing today, as always. Like I said, come back to the channel at 12:15. We will be doing a watch-along stream. We'll be doing a watch-along stream. So make sure you are coming back to the channel at 12:15. We'll be doing a watch-along for the Manchester City game. It's going to be the first on the channel. I'm looking forward to it. So, of course, if you want to come back for that one, massively appreciated. And if it does go well, we will do further watch-alongs as well. We'll obviously be answering just general football questions, having a general chit-chat, but, of course, FPL questions are fully welcomed as well for future game weeks as well. Like I said, I'm going to leave it there. Of course, head over to one of the big boys or over to Golden Goals stream as well. Thank you very much for everybody that has watched today. Massively appreciate it. Thank you for getting the stream over 100 likes yet again. You guys are the absolute best. And I will see you very, very shortly, like I said, for that watch along at 12:15.